Hope you guys don't mind the McDonald's shirt, cause I'm not changing. Hey y'all, so as you're probably aware, I am a massive fan of the Scream franchise. Wes Craven's original 1996 horror masterpiece is one of my favorite movies of all time, and my video about its wonderful pair of psychotic villains is my most popular video of all time. So I thought I'd have some fun and give the people what they want and talk about Scream 4 and its amazing twist ending. I think it's fair to say that going 11 years without a new installment in your franchise isn't fuck. I think it's safe to say that going 11 years without a new installment in your franchise is not the best of ideas. I mean, at that point, it's more dead than my goldfish I had when I was 10. The Scream team knew this and took full advantage of the fact that the tropes they critiqued and even created were completely outdated in the 2010s. They somehow needed to be even more meta than the first trilogy. They needed to take the tropes their franchise had created and shit all over them. Or something like that. This film was going to be the sequel to the sequels of a 90s horror film, and the Scream team took full advantage of that. It's almost like they perceived what criticism their film was going to get when they were writing it, and like wrote around it almost. Yes, we know it's been 11 years. Yes, we know our last film wasn't the greatest. Yes, we know the landscape of horror has changed, and guess what? We're here to fuck with it once again. Looking at the horror scene in the 2010s, it's easy to assume the Scream team was kinda hesitant to make this movie. In just 10 years, the genre had already changed so much, and left their movies feeling outdated. People are no longer scared of mass killers, they're scared of ghosts and demons. People are no longer terrified of Matthew Lillard because now they see him as the lovable fictional character, pothead and green shirt. Is there no longer a spot for good old Ghostface? Will people even remember Roger Jackson's amazing performance? Well, who fucking knows? I think it's safe to say that the Scream team was taking a massive risk when producing a new movie. Of course it wasn't going to flop, it's a well-known and beloved franchise with a huge committed fan base. But will it succeed in the eyes of the general public? Well, that's a gamble the Scream team was willing to take. Scream 4 was released on April 15, 2011 and made $97 million, so no, it definitely wasn't a flop. Scream 4 achieved exactly what it set out to do, but how did they do that? Well, my friends, it's quite simple. They made the most shocking, the most amazing twist in the franchise. Let me break it down. Scream 4's plot isn't very deep at first glance. For the first couple hours, it's exactly what you'd expect. It follows our original cast 11 years later in the old little town of Woodsboro. As Sidney Prescott returns to her book tour, she's once again stalked and attacked by a mass killer. But it's not just her and her friends this time, it's her and her teenage cousin, played by Emma Roberts, who by the way has the funniest cameo ever in this movie called The Hunt. It goes a little something like this.
That almost hit me.
Her and her group of friends are under close watch by the police, as they're believed to be on the killer's list, as well as Sydney. So naturally, over the course of the film, Sydney becomes quite close to her cousin, getting to know her and getting to trust her. The audience begins to naturally believe she will take Sydney's torch as the main character in the franchise from now on, and as the film continues, they have no reason to believe otherwise. But that's right, she was the killer the whole time, alongside, this guy. Yeah, they really did that. This was the first Scream movie that genuinely surprised me. I mean, Billy did go as far as to fake his own death, but Stu was pretty obvious. Billy's mom, kinda forgot she was in the movie to begin with, and Mickey, come on. And for Ronan, who the fuck are you again? But this was just fucking wow. This is balls on a filmmaker. Scream team abandoned the idea of sequel starring Emma Roberts with this amazing twist. She reveals herself as the killer by murking her ex and new boyfriend. She gives her evil monologue to a confused and heartbroken Sydney. She's been in this situation before, but never with a family member at the other end of the blade. She reveals that living in the shadows of her famous and beloved cousin for her entire life was too much for her to handle. She felt like she was unnoticed and unimportant. She took Sydney's fame personally, as if it was a personal attack on her. She always lived in the shadows, but now she'll be the final girl she always idealized. She stabs and kills Sydney, and begins to injure herself and make the crime scene look convincing. As the police arrives and she's hauled away by the ambulance, she has a massive grin painted across her face. She has won. Of course, she didn't actually win. Her sloppy work catches up to her in the end and she's eventually put down for good. Her greed and self-importance being what kills her. Well, that and a bullet. I think this ending is genuinely insane and easily the second best of the franchise. There's no way you're gonna beat the first one. Video link in description. The Scream team managed to pull off the impossible. They made Ghostface relevant again, with witty humor, extreme violence, and that sick-ass, dope-ass ending. I think Scream proved with this movie and the fact that they're getting a sequel next year that you can't keep Ghostface out of the loop for long. There will always be a Scream. There will always be a Ghostface, and you'll always be asking the question,
What's your